Okay, welcome to my Subnautica file. Like I said, I have a lot of different satellite bases. This is just one of them. It's the Delta base. Just gave them all different names, easy to remember. But this is on the Sea Treader path, one of two bases I have on the Sea Treader path. Happens to be at the end. This camera I just have kind of on it because, when you leave it, it looks kind of cool. Looking for fragments. Those are probably modification station. That's what seems to be a lot down here. This is where the actual base is itself, right near where it drops off. I have another camera kind of marking that too for me, so I know how far away that is. I only have 2 upgrades in here. I always just do 4 of the distance upgrades. Why not? I have all the time in the world. But as I said, each satellite has a scanner room, a multi-purpose room. I actually have 4 pots of plants in here, and that's what I use primarily to power this. If not, I'm using poop. As I said, usually always have fabricator, have to. We'll go over here first. Observatory, which I wish they were here now because it would look so much cooler, but they're not. Life sub. And of course a moon pool. So all of my outposts, they have those 4 rooms minimum. Now I'll just do one real quick trip of the Fab 4. That's what I named it. I find it ironic. And I now live on a yellow submarine. So,
welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
Definitely the coolest synthesized voice in the game. Have some pots here, and then of course my mobile crafting stations, recharge stations for different various things. And that's what this base looks like. So I will pause it and show you where the next base is here as I'm coming. Okay, this is, I think, beta. This is actually the second base that I built. It follows that same kind of layout. I think it actually might be identical layout to the other one as far as placement and everything. But as far as amenities go, it has the same thing. Now, I do have vehicle modification stations at most of my bases. I don't at I think that was Delta base, Delta that I just came from. So, there always seems to be one of those annoying, what are they called?
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Teleporters or whatever. But, this base, now I didn't show you in the other map, and I should have. This little floating island thing here, these are actually cameras, these 2 green dots from the other base. The other base is somewhere over in here somewhere. And you can see I actually have another camera kind of in the same area. That would be those 2 here, kind of on that same spot. But this base, and I don't know why it's not actually showing where it is, but it's right, let's see if I can see it on the map, right in here, right here on this archway. And this is actually the Sea Treader path, and I think it starts up here, or there's some kind of tunnel. That might be a tunnel there that I just haven't ever gone in. Not really sure. But it does come down, and I don't know if you can really see this too well, but there is an archway right here, and my base is situated right on top of that. So it kind of is nice for viewing those. And there's a huge wreck out this way where you can get the drill arm and the grappling arm for the prawn suit. But again, same thing, bioreactor, I use either the feces or I use the melons. As I said, vehicle modification station, I have that there. And then the observatory. And the observatory is really cool when they're walking right there. It's just kind of neat, watching them walk. But of course, the best thing to do is to follow them and pick up the, smash the basalt, outcroppings or whatever they're called, and get the mostly copper, sometimes lithium. I think I've gotten diamond, maybe 2 out of them. But I will load it up at the next base. real quick, this is actually right underneath the floating island. The floating island is right up there. You can see the Aurora rendezvous point. It is pretty much directly underneath it. So this would probably be the easiest one for you to find, or like at a general location. But this is what the pathway actually looks like itself. And if I can get through all of this light haze, there's that archway I was talking about. And the sea treaders literally walk right underneath it. It was a perfect spot for a base. But, okay, load up the next one. Okay, this is my main base actually. This is my first one. I thought that it would actually put legs out at that height, but I guess it didn't, and it kind of looks dumb. But at this point, it's a little too late to change that, and you will see why very shortly.
Welcome aboard.
I have this completely labeled out. I mean, everything, all the minerals, they have a label. So, I did have all of my equipment in here, but I moved it to the sub because there's just no point in having it in here when you have that. I really like how the scanner picks up these caverns below because that is the only way that I would know that they were there. I have it scanning for creature eggs. This is obviously in the safe shallows. It's a pretty, standard issue base. Although all of my cameras seem to be on that. I don't know why. The USS Ulysses. But there is more to the base, and I think I'm going to build a separate area for the alien containment facility. I might actually, I'm debating whether or not I want it connected or if I just want it its own separate kind of thing over there somewhere, or maybe over here, maybe both. Got some posters. I like that kitten one. But you can see, I mean, it's in a pretty decent spot. There's a wreck right over there. This is pretty much like right where I started. And it's what I wanted to, where I wanted to build. I do have, obviously, other levels. I was going to build a bed. I just haven't built any furniture or anything upstairs. Frame rate is pretty terrible sometimes. Also, my camera's having trouble adjusting. That's why you see it going in and out. But this is, pretty much my, gonna be my garden level when it's all said and done. Hopefully that fixes the, oops.
Caution. Mild dehydration
Well, that works out.
Subnautica recommended.
Oh, hey now. I think I might have issues now keeping it upright. Oh, maybe not. Yep. Okay, Okay, and then sorry about that. I do have one more level, and it's pretty pointless. I just gotta put there's bags down here, and they're full like scientific equipment that doesn't work. Not really sure what you're supposed to do with that. But I have a lot of really like odd plants, the ones that like are, you have to go to different areas to find. I have space for one more, obviously. So that's the main base. Pretty standard issue, other than, just having all of my stuff up here. Now, I am not taking my sub to my remaining two bases. One is in a rather hairy spot for a sub that large to get to. And the other one has a shit ton of Leviathans, so we're going to go to that one last. Alright, I will start it up when we get to the next one. Alright, this is Equibase. This is my most recent build. Haven't even moved the cameras or changed their color notifications. I like color coding that. Blue is like the most pointless color. It all mixes together, but if you mix the three, it's not so bad. But this might be my favorite one, other than these 2 feet sticking out. Like, I don't understand the logic that it uses sometimes. Sometimes they go away. A lot of times they do. Other times they don't. And I don't understand the difference. But this one is my, it's easily my second favorite base. I do have, another vehicle modification station here. Looks like I have 16 plants here too. But one of the main reasons why I like this, first of all, it's actually, here's the mountain island. You can't really see it, but that's that's actually the mountain island right there. And this is the opposite side of it. You can see there is a massive cave system underneath the mountain island. It's huge, and I have not really explored it at all yet. But this area is really cool because there's all these floating islands, you know, sort of, I mean, I guess you could call them that. And then a big chasm below. It's full of bone sharks, so that might be where I go to look for those eggs. But I'm on the largest floating island. You can kind of make it out there. It's a little easier to see if I back up and you kind of look through there. That's the one that I'm on. And it really does offer some pretty cool views. You know, I try to use glass, like you said, you know, as much as possible because it's cool. And it is. You can see all sorts of bone sharks, hopefully. You can see all that floating. Oh, there's some more. They're just everywhere. I think the most that I've seen from this observatory at one time was 17 bone sharks. And they are just everywhere. And this just offers some really, really cool views. There's a huge crash up that way, back towards that Charlie base, that beacon. It's I can't tell you what direction it is because I didn't get a compass yet. But this is pretty much this base. Location-wise, though, it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff around here. It's obviously dangerous, you know, swimming around and you know, I don't know what you call it, driving around. I don't know, boating, submarining around. But this is definitely, yeah, this is where this is at. So just an idea as to where this one is. I've found a ton of stuff at a wreck that is right up in here, right between these two little bridges here. I found, I don't know how many fragments of different stuff. I think I found the torpedo launcher for the prawn suit and something else. I want to say, I can't recall. Maybe repulsion cannon or something, propulsion arm, something like that for it. So that's where those are. All right, I will go to the last base, and as I said, it's definitely the scariest one. I almost always see a Reaper every time I go. I'm hoping that I do for this video's sake, but that's where I head next. Okay, not to disappoint, but I actually just ran from a Reaper. It came out of nowhere. I'm glad the camera wasn't rolling because I swore quite a few times. Because it started to do its frame rate lag thing, and I didn't know if it was going to register. There was its tail. There it goes. There it goes. Turn that light. Oh, jeez, I hate it when it does that. I really hate it when it does that. It's way too big to just render all of a sudden. Come on. As I said, go to the aft of the ship. That's where I am right now. You can see down below there is... Now, I've kind of scraped this area clean, but there's the high potential for scraps. There's some scrap. You can see like 4 or 5 right in the cluster. Oh, jeez. Where is this thing? Oh, it's out there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. It's right out there by the beta beacon. I'm going to go ahead and dock. Jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Doing that feet thing again.
Welcome aboard.
There you can see that little bit of that frame rate lag issue. I don't know where that thing happened to get to. But it will come here. And you can see at nighttime, it is just super dark. I'll go over to the observatory here real quick and show you just how dark everything really is. Like, you cannot see in front of your face hardly. I mean, there is some light here around my base, obviously, but you cannot see very far out there. This is one of the darkest surface areas, anyhow, that I've encountered in the game this far.
Dehydration detected.
Okay. But yeah, so you can see why this is scary. It's constantly shaking. There's looking for fragments. There are a ton of, I believe, bridge fragments all over the place down here. So if you're looking for bridge fragments, this is the place to get them. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I see the Leviathan off in the distance there, right about where my cursor is. It's probably too hard to see on the camera, but it did just show its face there briefly. A lot of times they'll come up from this side over here, and I'm at the aft section of the Aurora, and I'm on its starboard side, so back right rather. And again, I don't know why this isn't showing this, but this is about where my base is, right about here, I think. And there's where the remaining fragments are that I haven't picked up yet. Again, these three here I know for a fact are, Cyclops Bridge. But again, I think you said you already had the Cyclops, but it's always good to note in the video. But anyways, hope you enjoyed. If I find some cool stuff, or if I build some new bases, I'll show you what I build. But yeah, it's super dark. And real quick, I built these all over the place on the floor before I got the subs, and I took them down and apart. But you have your unlimited oxygen here, and you have light to find it there. It's one of the easiest ways in the beginning that I've found to do that. It's actually not bad if you see an area where you know it's gonna take a while to comb over it and get everything out. That's what I use. But I wanted to get out of the water before that damn Leviathan came back up. Oh, and keep an eye, like those alligator garfish, whatever the hell they are, I forget, stalkers, they can actually come up and they'll start biting the bottom of the ship. I don't understand why or how, but they do. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed.